Shilpa Rao, thank you so much for joining me on How I Made It. It's lovely seeing you here and talking to you. I'll start straight away, Shilpa, by asking you which song in your life was your game changer?
Well, that's a very difficult question because there's so many that have changed. If not anything else, they've changed me also. I mean, in the whole process of singing, you change, you evolve yourself. But Tose Nana would be the closest to my heart. My first song, yeah, that will always be very special.
Why do you say that? I mean, after that, what happened? What was the euphoria? Did more offers start coming in? क्या changes आए आपके लाइफ?
एक बात तो समझ में आई कि गाना बहुत अलग चीज है. जब आप गाने को निभा रहे होते हैं तब आप या कंपोजर या लिरिसिस्ट कोई मायने नहीं रखते हैं. आपको गाने को your duties towards the song, you have to do everything in your power to make it sound beautiful. Sometimes you have to underplay yourself. Sometimes you have to work harder. But the main hero is the song. I think that's what I understood with my first song. Yeah.
So concisely speaking, Shilpa, take us through your journey. Take us through that struggle which you had before this song.
Well, I guess the struggle never leaves you. In fact, जिंदगी का वही मजा है कि आपको हमेशा ही मेहनत करनी होती है. But हाँ, struggle change हो जाता है. Sometimes it's just about connecting with the song. Sometimes there's a struggle with that because, especially for Bulya, when I sang it, you needed to understand what the relationship was and why the song is in a certain way. So yeah, that's different. Sometimes it is just about maybe nothing's going well in your life and you have to stand on the mic and just forget everything and focus on the song. Sometimes things are going very well and you don't have that mind space to be melancholic or in a shell. But then I think whatever happens around you, the main thing, I mean, for me, the most important thing is my time in the studio with the mic and my song. Nothing else matters and nothing else should. So these are some little struggles that I've had in my life, but in a nutshell, struggle never leaves you. It just changes its forms for you. Yeah.
So did you have those days when, you went up to music for the makers, when you went up to a lot of, music people like lyric writers, yes, even maybe film producers and directors, and said that I want work, and you couldn't get for the longest time? Was there a phase there?
So yeah, ये phase तो आते जाते रहते हैं कि कभी कभार आप कुछ काम कर रहे हैं और शायद जो आप गा रहे हैं वो आपको लगा ही नहीं कि बहुत बहुत बड़ा गाना हो जाएगा या समथिंग. वो कभी आप सोच नहीं सकते हो. I mean, things are quite that way unpredictable, erratic. But yes, when I first started off, I did have a certain number of musicians, certain number of music directors that I wanted to work with. And I still remember I was in college and I was at St. Xavier's. And there used to be a small phone outside the gate. वो एक मिल्क बूथ होता था और वहाँ पर आप कॉइन्स डाल के फोन कर सकते हैं किसी को. So, I used to carry these like pocket full of change and start calling people. And so yeah, उस वक्त एक जुनून था कि हाँ अब बॉम्बे आए कुछ अच्छे गाने गाने मुझे I want to be a part of good music. So yeah, it would be difficult because the only thing that I would hear is you have a very different voice. We don't know what to do with it. It's nice, but we don't know what to do with it.
It was
so
two ways.
To make that, yeah. So it's up to you to find that little crack in time and make your mark. So at that point of time, you really need to have a lot of patience, because there were a lot of songs which I did before To Se Naina, but I couldn't have asked for a better first song. I think you need to have that patience and keep working hard irrespective. So that is something which I would want to say to any inspired aspirational musicians out there, that you need to have lots of patience. Yeah.
So who was your idol? I mean, in the growing up years, which singers?
Mehdi Saab. He's still my idol, and I cannot imagine my life without his music. I think he's like a north star for us, for many of us, who guides you to not just singing well, but to have something to say with your music. I think that's a very important thing. And when you hear him sing, when you hear his voice, you know that he's trying to say something to you. So I really admire him now and forever. Yeah.
Amongst the female voices?
My parents got married, and they were big fans of Begum Akhtar ji. So unke ghazlein, unka music hamare ghar pe bajta tha, and that would be a very, very one of my childhood initial years. I think I heard a lot of Begum Akhtar ji, Farida Khanam ji, one of most beautiful voices ever that has been played on radios or at homes. I think she was another artist. Prabha Atreji, Dr. Prabha Atreji. She's one of India's pride, one of the best classical artists that we have grown up with. And yeah, so these were some women that I grew up listening to.
So when you have idols, Shilpa, doesn't it subconsciously happen that you start singing or try to sing like them? And it didn't happen with you, or did it happen with you earlier and you had to shrug it off somehow?
So Hindustani classical music, it's always gurumukhi vidya. तो गुरु जो गाते हैं उसको आप पहले उसी तरह गाते हैं. तो सबसे पहले you imitate what your guru is singing, and then you find your own thought and own voice. So पहले सीखने के लिए तो अब यमन तो वो नीरे गारे नीरे सा ही होता है, आप किसी को भी पूछ लें तो वो तो आपको इमिटेट करना ही पड़ेगा. बट देन अपना उसके इर्द गिर्द ख्याल बनाना, उसकी बढ़त करना, वो आप पर डिपेंड करता है. एंड दिस finding your own voice was actually a very important crisis for me. I think when I was growing up, I was about 14, 15 or something like that. I was in school and I felt this existential crisis that I should have a voice of my own, a sound of my own. And there's a myth that circulates with musicians कि आप एक आवाज के साथ ही पैदा होते हैं, which is not true. In history, so many singers have worked on their voices. I mean, Mehdi Saab is one of them. Jagjit Singh ji is one of them. So I literally worked on my vocal texture to sound like myself. So yeah, that was another struggle that happened through my high school years. Yeah.
So you have collaborated with a lot of big names, Amit Trivedi, Pritam, Anushka Shankar, Vishal Dadlani. How would you see them different from each other? Do talk about these collaborations, but I want you to stress on the factor that ये चारों से आपने ज्यादा काम किया है, और आपको क्या लगता है कि इन चार में बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है?
Four of them, the one thing that is common between all of them is that all of them are kids. They have not lost their childlike self, which is brilliant about them. Talking about Pritam, I mean, what do I say? I think one of the most genius minds I've worked with, जो शायद भूल जाएं कि हाँ उन्होंने आपको फोन भी किया है कि रिकॉर्डिंग पे आना है, बट ये याद रहेगा कि उस गाने में क्या करना है और उस गाने की वो जो एक हरकत है वो चेंज नहीं करनी है. वो फोकस उनका इतना ज्यादा है कि it sometimes surprises you how can someone be so aware of these kind of things. So Preetham, I will, in fact, I'm very honored and I'm proud to say that we are friends and we
He's simply
talk to each
fantastic.
other.
He's simply fantastic. The only
True.
thing about Preetham that I think he forgets that he has called you is because he takes so much of work. He has spoken to me about this at length. कि वो यहाँ तक projects ले लेते हैं
हाँ,
बाद में
हाँ,
deadline के लिए he has to struggle.
Yes.
I don't know what is he
That
doing
is
now.
why he's
I haven't met him for a long time, but has he changed?
no, he's the same. He's the same. I think he's the same cute, adorable self who is lost when it comes to work, but when it comes to music, he suddenly has such clarity in his mind. I think that's something which I really admire about him. Yeah.
Moving on
So,
to
yeah,
Vishal.
he's Vishal and Shekhar, both of them are very, very important for me. Shekhar, especially because Shekhar and I have had this common love for ghazal, जो हमारी बचपन से first love रही है, and हम उस बारे में काफी बात करते हैं, and Vishal, I love this about him that when I had met them first time, this was for Khuda Jaane, and I was extremely scared to sing that song because when you hear the song, it's not an easy song to sing. And मैंने सोचा था कि अब तो मैं इसको गा ही नहीं पाऊंगी, and this is going to be the last time I'm seeing Vishal and Shekhar ever in my life. But I will have to say, with the humility and the large-heartedness that they showed to me, it's okay. You go, you do your thing, be yourself. And that's how they encouraged me to sing that song that way. So I that's something which I love about them, that nothing matters when it comes to making a song. चाहे वो नया बंदा हो या कोई मंझा हुआ, वो एक ही बात पे फोकस करते हैं कि गाना सही हो, and with the same amount of respect for a newcomer. I think it's very admirable about both of them to have that about people. Anushka Shankar, Hanji?
They are fantastic as well, and they've given us a lot of good compositions. There's no doubt about that.
With Anushka Shankar, I think I had met her at a music festival, and Karsh is a common friend, Karsh Kale. And you don't have to really meet a musician to know them, because you know them because of their music. So this is something which I felt about her, that her and I, we both knew each other because of our music. जबकि हम पहले कभी मिले नहीं थे. But then when we met and we really bonded, and I was in London 2018, and we just met, had a lot of food, and we just played each other our music, and said, let's do a song together. I said, yeah, cool, let's do that. In 2019, I was again visiting for a gig of mine, and then I love this about her because I'm like this. I cannot work on email. I mean, the collaboration could have happened on email, but then we both like the fact that we're in the same room and the same studio, and we worked on the song with our physical presence. And that's what I loved about her, that she understood that about me. And it was a very humble attempt of making an album, and I mean, life has been extremely nice, and it made it to the Grammys.
Moving on to Amit Trivedi.
Amit is someone that I've known. I mean, we both were looking for work. I think this was I think I'm talking about 2006, 7-ish when we had first met, and we both were doing jingles, and we were doing our thing, and we worked on this song called Dhol Yara Dhol. And Anurag Kashyap was a good friend of mine, and he was looking for someone new, and I played him the song, and that's how Devdi happened. And so one thing about Amit and I is that because we spent too much time, उस time पे हम काफी the word should be वेले, हमारे पास हम busy नहीं थे उस time पे, हम काफी chill कर रहे थे life में. तो उस टाइम पे हमने काफी म्यूजिक साथ में सुना हुआ है. सो कॉमन इन्फ्लुएंसेस काफी है म्यूजिक को लेकर के, जैसे 07 हो गया, या अगर हम स्टिंग की बात करें तो एक कॉमन म्यूजिक इन्फ्लुएंसेस है. तो अभी क्या होता है जब हम काम करते हैं, so then Amit says, this is that song and this is the reference, and it's easy to get what he's talking about. So Amit and I, we don't take more than 30 minutes to do a song. It's always like that. It's always been like that.
Which is that song, Shilpa, which took you the longest time with anybody, and you had to redo it. Perhaps you were finding it tough, or perhaps the music composer was not satisfied for whatever reason.
So one song which was very difficult, I think it was something which is physically excruciating, because it's not just about singing it, but when you're singing it, you're physically standing and you're practicing, and also practicing at home and then going for it. I think it was Pa Muri Muri with the genius maestro Raja sir. It was, I was just out of college. I still remember Balke asked me, you're not like an underage person who's come to work and all. I hope. So I said, no, sir. He's very, very, he has a very beautiful sense of humor, and I think one of the most warmest people that you would work with. And Pa was, I think, very difficult project to work on, because for Raja sir, that attention to detail, where you're leaving that note, where you're finishing that line, everything has to be perfect. And it's not easy, but you actually learn so much. I mean, all these people that I've mentioned, of course, I've worked with them, but then you learn so much from every song. That Raja sir, being at that age, doing so much work, working with a total newcomer, but still having that attention to detail and finishing the song perfectly, I think says a lot about him. So, yeah.
10 years from now, Shilpa Rao कहाँ अपने आप को देखना चाहती है?
10 years from now, I hope I'm happy. And I hope in 10 years I can put more effort into my music and be better human being. Because this is one thing I always pray whenever there is a conversation with the supreme power. This is the only thing I pray for. I hope to be a better human being, and I hope to sing better. And once you are a better human being, you sing better. I feel that. So that effort is always there. I want to be a happy person. I don't know what I will do, where I will be, but I want to be a happy person. I want to be a good human being for other people, and yeah, be a better artist. That's all. Yeah.
I don't know what to say as a concluding statement, but what I see written on your forehead is a 6-letter word called wisdom.
I think you should just have five letters. Happy.
Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Vicky. Pleasure. And it's been a long time that I've had such a conversation with someone. So thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate it.